Geshe-la ordained at the age of 9 and then entered Kopan Monastery in Kathmandu, the home of the FPMT organization. And then Geshe-la took the Geshe degree in India at Sera Jey and went to the Tantric College in India as well, and has ever since been a huge part of the FPMT organization, coordinating and then also being a resident teacher and traveling teacher. Currently a resident teacher at Thubten Norbu Ling in Santa Fe, from which we also are blessed having the teachings from Venerable Robina. And it is actually through the former SPC at Thubten Norbu Ling that we got this connection. Shankar, who kindly suggested that we should be doing this Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, because as we are doing this Discovering Buddhism teachings, Shankar mentioned that it's a wonderful way to start the day, the morning, before engaging in our daily LamRim contemplations. And now we have 4 Fridays, the next 3 Fridays as well, where Geshe-la will teach, explain, and guide us through the practice. And welcome to everybody. We are so happy that you have joined us tonight. And welcome, Geshe-la. Do you want me to screen share, or will you screen share the sadhana, or just leading?
Maybe have you shared with the rest of the others?
Yeah, we shared with the others.
Yeah, I think if everyone has that, and I think if everyone can download that, so you can also continue to read while
Yes.
later, and then maybe also practice. Okay.
Yes.
So again, thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. And as Lars explained, we will have 4 sessions of this. And maybe we can start with trying to generate the motivations. Good motivations, okay? So just try to quiet your mind by watching the breath for a few moments. Then we can try to think how fortunate and lucky we are to have this precious human life. Not only have the precious human life, have met the Dharma, and also have met some of the incredible teachers. So we have gathered all the right conducive conditions to really practice the Dharma now. And if we don't practice now, and if we lose this opportunity, we never know whether we will be able to have such conditions again in the future. Therefore, I must utilize and make most of my life meaningful by engaging in Dharma practice. And engaging Dhamma practice means trying to reduce and overcome all those afflictive emotions, all these disturbing negative emotions as much as possible. Trying to cultivate and increase and improve all positive virtuous mental states, such as loving kindness, compassion, bodhichitta, wisdom, and so forth, as much as possible. And to be as much help as much as possible to all sentient beings whenever. At least not trying to hurt and harm others. And not only that, to be able to be greatest benefit to each and every sentient beings as much as possible. And the best help we can do to others is to help them to overcome their own delusion, their own afflictive emotions, their own obscurations, the root of all the problem, suffering. And to be able to help them to achieve ultimate happiness of fully enlightenment. There's nothing better help that we can do to them than to be able to do that. And in order to be helped in the greatest way like that, then I myself need to improve, develop, free myself from all the disturbing emotions, all the obscurations. And I need to actualize all the spiritual realizations, the path, and achieve fully enlightened state. In order to achieve that fully enlightened state, I must practice. And to practice, I need to learn how to practice. I need to be reminded of the practices all the time. For that very reason, I'm going to listen and try to reflect, contemplate as much as possible. Okay, so Sangye Chodang Sogi Sonam La Chanchu Padu Dane Japsonje Dage Jin Sogi Be Sonam Ji Dola Penje Sangye Joba Sangye Chodang Sogi Sonam La Chanchu Padu Dane Japsonje Dage Jin Sogi Be Sonam Ji Dola Penje Sangye Joba Sangye Chodang Sogi Sonam La Chanchu Padu Dane Dage Jin Sogi Be Sonam Ji Dola Penje Sangye Joba. So we will be discussing about Lama Tsongkhapa's Guru Yoga. Normally there are many Guru Yogas, okay? And we are going to discuss specific Guru Yoga of Lama Tsongkhapa. And within the Lama Tsongkhapa's Guru Yoga, there are many different Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, but here today we are going to go, discuss Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, known as Ganden Lha Gyama in Tibetan, and English, 100 Deities of the Tushita. So based on that, which is quite short. So before we discuss on this particular Guru Yoga, I want to kind of discuss a little bit why Guru Yoga is important and what does Guru Yoga means, and then actually go into the practice itself. In many of the Buddha's teachings, in Tantric and Sutras, it has explained by the Buddha many times that without the Guru Yoga and the Guru devotions, it's impossible to cultivate spiritual realizations or experiences. So it is the very root of all spiritual realizations or the experiences. That being the case, then all the earlier masters of Indian and Tibetan and all other different true practitioners, they have very much achieved their realizations or spiritual experience by relying on Guru properly through the practice of Guru devotion and Guru Yoga. Great masters such as great Indian masters such as Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, and then in Tibetan masters such as Milarepa, Lama Tsongkhapa, Ensava, they all were able to achieve their spiritual realization by relying on the Guru devotion, Guru Yoga. So in related to our own lineage, Lama Tsongkhapa himself, even though he was great, even at a young age, he was, great, expert and very well known in terms of understanding of the Dharma. And not only that, he has composed and write many great writings, and he had many disciples where he teach. But at that time, still, at one time he thought maybe he might have realizations of the emptiness, and then he asked. One time had to share his experience and asked Manjushri whether his experience and whether his understanding is correct understanding or emptiness according to the middle way Nagarjuna's view or Prasangika. And the answer he got was no. His understanding and experience at that moment wasn't the correct understanding of the emptiness according to the Nagarjuna's view of Prasangika. And even though intellectually he understood all of them, even though he had read in many books at that time, and even though he has been teaching so many students and disciples, but in terms of experience and realizations, he was taught, that wasn't the case. And he asked, what I need to do to have the correct experience and realizations of that, ask, can you explain, teach and explain, give instructions. And it says Manjushri gives some instructions, and he said, I don't understand that. And Manjushri says, don't worry. You don't understand that, but you will understand later. And so he gave him advice, what you need to do in order to have that experience, realizations. Try to practice the Guru Yoga by seeing the Guru and the deity or the yidam inseparable, And then also try to combine the practice of purification, accumulation of merit. On top of that, then continue to study, practice, and meditate. And if you do all of that, then you will have the correct realization and spiritual experience of the emptiness. And as advised by the Manjushri, he did that. He left everything behind from teachings and all of that, but he focused for many years just on working with that. And after he had worked with that, with combining all this practice, Guru Yoga, accumulation of merit, purification, and continue to study and meditate and practice, then eventually he had the direct realization of emptiness. Or he cultivated a wisdom that realized the emptiness directly, And so that is, from that point of view, again, I think we know that how those parts, such as practice of Guru Yoga, become so important for realizations. And with his own direct experience, Lama Tsongkhapa, with his own direct experience, then he shared that in his LamRim Chemo, the stages of the path, about that, where he says, when unable to recollect or remember the words, even when you are able to remember the words, but when you are unable to understand the meaning of the words, or even when you understand the meaning of a word, but when you're reflecting on them, you are unable to attain any realizations. When you are unable to cultivate, attain any realization, even when you are trying to contemplate and meditate, then the pit instructions. So Lama Tsongkhapa is saying the pit instructions is to rely on holy objects. Engage in the practice of seeing the Guru and Yidam oneness. That is the Guru Yoga. By being able to see the Guru and the Yidam or the deity as oneness, and make supplications, purify, accumulate merit, and meditate. So that is what he went through that practice himself, and through his own direct experience, he was able to develop that realizations and that spiritual experience by combining all this practice, and he also advised us to also rely on that as a instructions. So that is the importance of Guru Yoga that you can see from, and I think also in terms of, I guess, His Holiness the Lamas has shared a similar, where he says, deep spiritual experiences, which seems to transcend logical explanation sometimes, are not easily expressed in the words or transmitted by the means of verbal explanations. Sometimes we can, but sometimes we cannot really express with just a word, They depend rather on the inspirations and blessings received from the spiritual lineage through one's teachers, So we need a blessing as well. We need the blessings of all the lineage guru, starting from the Buddha Shakyamuni up to our direct guru or teachers. We need all their blessing, inspirations. And that kind of blessing and inspiration come through Guru Yoga. Guru Yoga is a method, a mean to receive those blessings. So His Holiness continued. That is why in Buddhism, and particularly Vajrayana Buddhism, the practice of Guru Yoga, the union with teacher's nature, is given such a great importance. So then His Holiness, since the practice of Guru Yoga is so important, the qualities of the teacher himself or herself are extremely important too. The qualified necessary for an authentic teacher were described in greatly detail by the Buddha himself in many sutras and tantras. So that is little bit of importance of the Guru Yoga and how that Guru Yoga fit within the general other practices in terms of our path. And then in terms of Guru Yoga, Guru means the spiritual master, teachers. Yoga is the kind of practice, So before we talk about Guru Yoga, I kind of like to talk a little bit of what the Guru, what is Guru, or what is Guru, you find in many scriptures talking about ultimate Guru and conventional Guru in some of the texts. The ultimate Guru is the Dharmakaya, Dharmakaya wisdom is the ultimate Guru. Even though we have not developed that Dharmakaya, the exalted, enlightened wisdom at the moment, but we have the potential of that to actualize that ultimate Guru within ourselves. Then the conventional Guru is the persons, the teachers from whom we receive the teaching instructions. Okay? So there is ultimate Guru and conventional Guru. And we rely on conventional Guru in order to have access to the ultimate Guru. Once you have access to your ultimate Guru, then you don't need conventional Guru anymore. It's like the key to get in. Once you have got in, then you don't need a key anymore. is like the boat. So the point is to be able to realize our own potential and actualize inner or ultimate guru. And in order to do that, then we need the help of the conventional guru. Also in materials, ornament of clear realizations, he describes about inner guru and outer guru or external guru, and in that he described the inner guru being the wisdom and the method being bodhichitta mind, true loving kindness, compassion, and bodhichitta mind. The wisdom and the method as being the inner guru, and of course the outer guru is the spiritual masters that is in human form. Okay. Who give us again advice, instructions, and teachings. Similarly, one of the great Sakyaba master, Konjo Lundu, he also described similarly like that, where he talked outer guru, he talked about three kinds of guru: outer guru, inner guru, and secret guru. And then he said the outer guru is the embodiment of all the Buddhas, the one you can see and communicate with, and is also the one you receive teaching and instruction from. That is the outer guru. Inner guru is the nature of your mind. The secret guru is the emptiness of phenomena. So he described that way. But again, this is not much different from the description of the Maitreya and in other sutras. Basically, so it can be described as ultimate guru, conventional guru, inner guru, outer guru. And the point is to have access to the inner guru, the ultimate guru. And in order to do that, then we rely on outer guru or conventional guru. And Guru Yoga is, the practice that we do in relation to the outer or conventional guru, so that we can have access to the inner guru. And again, as I mentioned, once you have access to the inner guru, then outer guru or conventional guru, you don't need. You can rely on your own inner guru. But until then, we have to rely on external guru to guide. And then one of another masters, in terms of practice of Guru Yoga, there's starting from beginning level, then higher level to higher level. There are stages of level of how to. So in that, again, another master, Dishung Rinpoche, he said, first we try to meditate that outer guru is the Buddha. That's when we do the Guru Yoga, Guru devotion, that is the very beginning level. We try to meditate as the Guru being a Buddha. Then as we make a progress, secondly, we see the Guru as the Buddha. As we make progress with the first stages, then we are able to see the Guru as a Buddha. At the moment, we can't see Guru as a Buddha. You know, we have a lot of struggles, you know. If he's Buddha, how can he make this mistake, that mistake? If he's Buddha, how come that he doesn't see, he's not omniscient, he can't see everything, this and that. If it's Buddha, he does this and that, she does this and that, all kinds of things. So we are unable to see as a Buddha. But as you make to the next stage, then you are able to see. Secondly, then you are able to see as a Buddha, you know. And thirdly, as you make more progress, you see or recognize your own mind as a Buddha. You know, your ultimate transcendental wisdom, enlightened transcendental as a Buddha. So, and thirdly, you see your mind as a Buddha. You know, so that is again progressive practice in Guru Yoga, and the experiences and the way you experience as you progress on the path. But we are, at the moment, we are going to talk the first stages. The first stage, okay? The beginning stages, okay? The first stairs, okay? So I think if you are on the second stage, third stages, you might be disappointed because here the Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga we are going to discuss is on the base of the first stage. So then what exactly, you know, so we explain a little bit about the Guru, okay? What Guru means. And then Guru Yoga, what does Guru Yoga means? What does the practice of Guru Yoga means? You know, it is just visualizing the Lama Tsongkhapa and seeing the Lama Tsongkhapa and Guru inseparable and reciting the mantra or the mixema. Is that what Guru Yoga is? Is that what Guru practice? Then it's not just that. It's part of that practice. It's not just that. Okay. So we shouldn't lose the essence of Guru Yoga. You know. So in relation to that, then I'm quoting a little bit from Lama Tsongkhapa himself, from LamRim. You know. Here Lama Tsongkhapa, the well-known and so-called instruction on Guru Yoga should be understood as explained previously in the earlier chapters, you know, in LamRim during the Guru, at the chapter of the Guru devotions. You know, so that's what explained previously. It will not lead to anything just doing few sessions of, you know, just doing few sessions for a few days, few months is not going to have those realizations we are looking for, just reciting the prayers and the visualization just by that self. Instead, it should be understood as explained earlier during the Guru devotions chapters. You know, if one want to practice the pure Dharma, it is important to depend and rely on unmistaken qualified teacher for a long time. So that is, so therefore what it means is the practice of Guru Yoga is to help us to develop stronger devotion to the Guru. It's a method. This is a method to develop a strong devotion to the Guru and make strong connection, internal connections. You know. So on top of the practice that we do here, you also have to apply some practice that is explained through reasoning and logic that is explained in the chapter of the Guru devotions. Okay? here, it is not in this particular practice that kind of explanations on it is not done. It's a specific practice, but we should, when you are really practicing, you should combine those two together. You know, combining together. And when you combine those practices together, then you know, your devotions become more stronger and less fabricated. You know, and sometimes we have to fake and fabricate in order to reach a point where there is no more faking and there is no more fabricating. Because at the moment, at the very beginning, even you try to see Guru as a Buddha is hard. We are just faking. We are just fabricating, you know. Even we try to see our Guru and Lama Tsongkhapa inseparable oneness, still, you know, our mind is not totally there. It's still, on one hand, we do the practice, on the other hand, we still have those questions, you know, question marks, you know. We are not totally into, our mind is in conflict, constant conflict and struggles. You know, am I making myself all this? And all kind of different thoughts, minds comes, and then, you know, so it feels like we are, when we do the practice, even though we are doing the practice, sometimes we feel like we're faking it. We are just fabricating it. And it is not only with the Guru devotion, it is practiced with everything, loving kindness, compassion, bodhichitta, tonglen, all of that, you know. It doesn't come, you know, totally from the very beginning. But as we do practice the meditation, and with the time, as it gets more and more deep, as we get more and more strong, as we get more and more familiar and all of that, then it starts to become less and less fabricating, less and less faking, and it becomes more and more real in our mind, and less struggle. Less and less struggle. And then when you reach that point, then you started to enjoy your practice. Because you can be in it instead of trying to struggle to be in it. Do you get it? At the moment, it's like you are always struggling to be inside and unable to be that. But once we reach that point, then there's no more that struggle. When there is no more that struggle, then you enjoy practice and you get more from your practice, you know. Then true blessing started to come and true transformation started to happen, you know. And similar to that, you know, another great masters, you know, great practitioner, Chögyal Rinpoche, he said, there are many practices of Guru Yoga, Deity Yogas, and Yidam or Deity, you know, is like friend when you are in good conditions. Whereas Guru is like a friend in difficult times. Therefore, Guru Yoga is very important. And it is, I think Rinpoche is making these comments because it is mentioned, you know, in many of the teachings, material and many other teachings. When you reach certain realizations, when you reach in terms of the five path, when you end of the first path, the path of accumulations, you know, within the path of accumulations, then there are initial stages, middle stages, and great stages. And when you reach a great stage, then you develop a certain concentrations And through that kind of certain concentrations, known as, continuous receiving continuous teachings, you are able to have access to the Buddha to be able to receive the teachings from the Buddha themselves. And then at that point, the Buddha is able to help in their form, in the enlightened form, through their teachings and instruction. That is when you have already made quite progress in your spiritual path. So that is like a friend in the good times. But now we are at the very beginning, struggling in our path, when you are not entered the path, real path, and not have any realizations. Who can guide us? Who can give us instruction and teaching and inspiration is the Guru. And that is when we are in most difficult time. The Guru is like a friend in a difficult time, when you are very ordinary, when you are there very beginning, when you are, when you are unable to make much progress at the very beginning. That is where it helps. So I think that is where Rinpoche is making that. And so Rinpoche said, there has been many practitioners who have attained Buddhahood in one lifetime. They all did by taking the Guru Yoga as the heart practice, and top of that, doing Idam Sadhana. Therefore, Guru Yoga is most important and better heart practice. And then he explained what Guru Yoga means. Guru Yoga is not just reciting Ganden Lha Gyama. So this is the Ganden Lha Gyama that we are going using that, just reciting Ganden Lha Gyama or Guru Puja from the Guru Puja, that like any others. So it is not just reciting Ganden Lha Gyama or 6-session Guru Yoga, but cultivating Guru devotions. And in order to cultivate that Guru devotion, then we rely on all the reasoning, logic that you see in the LamRim, as well as using this particular practice as well. Combining, and recollecting the kindness according to the LamRim, and engaging in the practice of 7 limb to create merit and purify, and making supplication and receiving blessing is the Guru Yoga. Okay, so that is so I think maybe that is done with a little bit of kind of preparations, I guess. The talk on the Guru Yoga before we engage in the Guru Yoga itself. Okay. So then, in page number 3, that is where it starts, with the preliminary practices, taking refuge and generating bodhichitta, But before that, like in every practice, there is the preparations. Okay, there's preparations. And so if you're taking this Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, if you do that, then of course preparations is, to have possible either Lama Tsongkhapa's statues or Thanga pictures, with his 2 disciples, main disciple, Kedu Rinpoche and Gyatso Rinpoche and Kedu Rinpoche, or at least of him, So to have, if you have statue, is good. If you don't have statue, Thanga, good. If you don't have statue, you can have pictures, on the altar. Is of course, nowadays you can get pictures. You can Google and you can find all kinds of pictures, paintings. And so having that, and then, on the altar to have a Dharma book, especially if you are doing this, Guru Yoga as the main practice, then in Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, then to have maybe LamRim text, because one of the main texts of LamRim text, and then as a representing or symbolizing the holy mind, then a stupa, if you don't have stupa, then you can even have bell, or if you don't have that, then you can even have a pictures of the stupa as well. So setting the altar, setting the object, the altar, that is the first, that you require only one time, only one time, the first time, And then secondly, setting the offerings beautifully, So again, you can have seven water, the offering was water bowls, you can set up, and you can set up all kinds of other offerings, such as, light, incense, fruit, music, whatever offering that you want to offer, you can try to set up offering, arrange the offering, not only arrange the offering, but try to arrange it very beautifully, as, when you arrange everything beautifully, it helps your mind, when things are, when you go to a room, either your room or someone's room, it's messed up, your mind is kind of distracted more easily. Do you find that? Whereas if you have arranged everything well, your mind is less distracted. Your mind is more calm, more able to concentrate better. But if I've, thrown everything, then your mind goes here and there, and you start to think, what should I do, this and this? Your mind gets kind of distracted because your mind follows what you see. So again, try to arrange well, and then try to sit on the cushions, and if possible, then with the seven posture, the body posture. So I will not need to go in detail each of them, And then on the basis of that, then you try to start the practice with the refuge and bodhichitta, And at the very beginning, when you sit in every practice, you want to start the practice with a good intention and motivations. The best intention, the best motivations. Not only good intentions, motivation, but the best intention and motivations. There's a difference between good intention and the best intentions. The best intention is to start your practice for the benefit of not just yourself, but all sentient beings. The bodhichitta motivations, okay? And in order to start with that kind of motivation, sometimes when you sit, you might not be able to start that motivation immediately because your mind might be kind of disturbed by something, or your mind be too preoccupied of thinking what you need to do next thing, or I need to finish this before I go to job, or I need to do this. So all these different thoughts, and your mind is unable to settle to even have a good intention or best motivations. So the first is to quiet that crazy mind. Settle down and quiet your mind. And to do that, then you do the breathing exercise, okay? For some people, you might all need 6 rounds of breathing in and out before you can quiet your mind. For some people, 6 still their mind might not be quiet and settled. They might need to do 9 rounds, 12 rounds, 21 rounds. Then after you have done 21 rounds, then your mind started to kind of become more settled and more quiet. And once your mind is more settled and quiet, calm, then you try to generate a good intention, motivation for the practice. Okay? And then you start, refuge and bodhichitta. And in order to start with refuge and bodhichitta, after the motivation, then you visualize the refuge field. And again, there are many different ways of, I think maybe, I will just kind of go through here, so then when you read it, you will have some understanding. Here is a visualized object of refuge. You can either do elaborate visualization, one in many, as found in Georgia. So what it means, one in many, is you visualize your guru, root guru manifesting into many, so then there is a root guru manifesting in the form of Buddha Shakyamuni in the center, and then manifesting in many other Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and Daga, Daginis and protectors and so forth. So is one root guru, but manifesting in different beings of different level of beings. Buddha, Bodhisattvas, Arhat, Daga, Dagini, protectors, all of them. There are so many of them in the merit refuge field, but they all are in the essence one. They all are manifestation of one. That is the root guru. That is what it means by here, one in many, as you find in Georgia, Or simply visualization, many in one, in which the object of refuge are embodied in Guru Shakyamuni. Or you just visualize one, Buddha Shakyamuni. Okay? Buddha Shakyamuni, who is one with your root guru, who is inseparable from the guru, and who embodied all the other Buddhas of 10 directions, all the Bodhisattvas, all the gurus, all the Buddhas, all the Bodhisattvas, all the Arhats, all the Daga Daginis, and all the protectors, Dhamma protectors, and so many in one is that. So in this case, you visualize just one Buddha Shakyamuni, but who embodied all of them into one. So you can do either of them, whichever. If you have time, you can do one in many. That takes times. You visualize all of. Maybe when you have rush, you can do many in one, and just visualize the Buddha Shakyamuni. Okay. And then also you try to see, Buddha Shakyamuni, his body is the Sangha, his speech is the Dharma, and his mind as the Buddha. So then you see Buddha Dharma Sangha, all Buddha Dharma Sangha all in that, And then you try to meditate, reflect, contemplate as much as possible, trying to generate the refuge, trying to think of the sufferings in the samsara of yourself and all sentient beings. How as long as we are in samsara, how as long as our life is driven by the karma and the delusions, there's no real happiness, there's no real peace. There's no really lasting peace, happiness, true happiness. With that understanding, trying to generate strong strong wish and determination and desire to free from the samsara and the cause of the samsara, the karma and the delusions. And in order to do that, then something that can help you to do that is then the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Then Buddha Dhamma Sangha, by seeing Buddha as the teachers or as the doctors, by seeing the Dharma as the real medicine, the cure, the treatment, by seeing the Sangha as the nurse assistant, and through the help of all three, then you can be cured of the delusions and the karma, and thereby freeing yourself and all sentient. So with that, then the wish to free from the samsara and the cause of samsara, and the faith in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha to be, able to help us, guide us, lead us from that and free from that samsara. So having total faith and trust in Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and totally giving yourself totally trusting to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So that is the refuge, So that refuge is not just reciting the word, I go refuge to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. That is not the true refuge. True refuge is the having that total trust, confidence, faith in Buddha Dhamma Sangha. For what? To inspire, to guide, to help us to free from the samsara and cause of samsara. So trying to develop that as strong as possible, according to whatever our level, we should reflect, contemplate a little bit on that so that our, trust and faith in Buddha Dhamma Sangha grow, become more strong, more intense, more pure, more sincerely, So with that, then you can do, there are many different verses to take to do the refuge, you can use Tibetan word, you can use English, Sanskrit, Namo Gurube, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, you can do that. Or Lama like so, Sangha like so, like so. Or I go refuge to the Guru, I go refuge to the Buddha, I go refuge to the Dhamma, I go refuge to the Sangha. Or you can do here as it is said, I take refuge until enlightenment in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, the Sangha. Okay? You can recite that 3 times. And then you do the visualizations. Why you do that, and when you feel and you do that, then you, from the Buddha Shakyamuni heart, his light and nectar flow and enter oneself and all sentient beings and cleanse all the negativities, all the negativities, all the sickness, all the spiritual harm, all the negative karma, all the delusion, and especially all the negative karma that we might have created in relation to the Guru, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha has been completely cleansed, purified. Become yourself like crystal clear, and receiving the blessings of the Guru, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, the enlightened body, speech, and mind. So you can do that. So that is a short visualization. Of course, if you want to do a detailed, extensive visualization, then it's much more. We don't need. And then refuge and bodhichitta. And so then trying to generate a strong bodhichitta mind. And so again, you can recite this one by merit of generosity and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit transmitter being. So again, by merit of me, here, generosity and so forth means such as practice of moral discipline, patience, joyous effort, concentration, wisdom, and especially here by the merit of trying to practice, trying to meditate, trying to practice this Guru Yoga, may that, that may I be able to achieve fully enlightenment in order to liberate each and every sentient beings from all their suffering and the cause of their suffering. So again, when you have time, you can try to do meditation on bodhichitta, here, by using either the method of exchanging and equalizing self with other, or by using the method of the subliminal cause and effect. So you try to generate the bodhichitta mind as much as possible, as strong as possible, So trying to generate that bodhichitta mind. And again, reciting that bodhichitta prayer 3 times. So you try to do that. So then, having done that, refuge in bodhichitta, and a strong faith in the Buddha Shakyamuni, who embodied all the enlightened beings, who is inseparable from the root guru, then that with your strong faith, then replica of Guru Buddha Shakyamuni come from his heart and enter yourself from the crown, and enter with yourself, and you and Guru Buddha Shakyamuni become inseparable. Your subtle body, mind, and speech, and Guru Buddha Shakyamuni's holy body, speech, and mind become oneness, inseparable. And then you can also visualize transforming yourself into the Buddha Shakyamuni yourself. Having become one, you transform in the Buddha Shakyamuni into yourself. And then once you have that, then out of, again, loving kindness, compassion, bodhichitta mind, then you send lights from your heart to all the directions, 10 directions, to the all sentient beings that is surrounding you, and engage in practice together. And in top of all this, each of those lights, you send as equal number of Buddha Shakyamuni replica, and each of those Buddha Shakyamuni on top of each of sentient being crown. And again, white lights, nectar flow from them, purify all the negativities, all negative karma, delusion, all the obscurations, and sending them all the blessing of body, holy body, speech, and mind, and leading them to the fully enlightenment, and they all become fully enlightened. They all become Buddha Shakyamuni. And then you try to state in mind, where all become one, your guru, the Buddha, yourself, and all sentient beings all become one Buddha, one, all in one, inseparable. So that is taking the bodhichitta in a resulting practice, so yes, and then you can visualize, all the lights, nectars, coming back to your heart, dissolving in your heart, as well as you can visualize all others, sentient beings who have become a Buddha, also dissolving yourself, and all become one, The Guru Buddha Shakyamuni dissolve into yourself, become oneness, and all sentient beings who have become Buddha also dissolve into yourself, and you all become one. And then once you have done that, then again we think, even though I have done this practice of visualizing, of liberating all sentient beings from their suffering and cause of suffering, and leading them to fully enlightenment, but at this point, that is not the reality. It's just a visualizations. It's just imagining. It's just a training my mind. I haven't really been able to liberate them at the moment. I haven't been able to really lead them to fully enlightenment at the moment. It's just training the mind. It's just visualizing, imagine. Because they are still suffering. In reality, they are still suffering. In reality, they are still suffering, and they are still under the influence or control of suffering and cause of suffering. In reality, they are still forget about the happiness of enlightenment. They don't even have, many of them still struggle the happiness or even samsara. And once coming to that, then, then because they are still suffering and still they don't have the happiness, then you do the immeasurable, this one, then practice. Then, as you see, the 4 immeasurable thoughts. This one is again more extensive one. When you have time, it's good to do this extensive one. And even when you don't have time, you can do the short one, May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment to some and hatred to some others. May all sentient beings happiness and cause of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and cause of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness that is free from the sufferings, May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness that is free from the suffering, So that is the shorter one, 4 immeasurable short one. You can do that. When you have time, then you can do this version, the longer one, and while you do these versions, so because sentient beings are still suffering, and why they suffer? One of the main cause of suffering is, not having equanimity because of the discriminating mind of attachment and anger, hatred. Due to the attachment and hatred, they are suffering. And so therefore, you wish them to be free from the cause of the suffering. That's the discrimination mind of attachment and to be able to abide in the equanimity. So that is where how wonderful it would be if all sentient beings would abide in equanimity, free from the closeness of attachment and the distance of the hatred. So you try to feel, not only just recite the word, try to feel that word as much as possible. Then, even stronger than not only how wonderful it will be if they abide in equanimity, but now may they abide in equanimity. That is more profound, more stronger, more, you really want them to see in equanimity. You really wish them to be in equanimity. Of course, when we say all sentient beings, you are also included in that as well, because we also need equanimity. Okay, it's not like may they abide in equanimity and not me, So when we think of all sentient beings, we have to think you are included in that. You are also part of that. Instead of seeing yourself different, separate, and other sentient beings separate out there. And then even going more stronger, not only you really wish them to see them in equanimity, but I myself will cause them to abide in equanimity. Then taking the responsibility. Taking the responsibility by yourself. Wishing someone to be in equanimity, even if sincerely is one thing, taking responsibility to do that yourself is about much more stronger, and taking the responsibility to do that yourself. And in order to do that, at this point, when we are still unenlightened, like then, we need a lot of help. We need a lot of help, support from everywhere. And definitely we need a support, help, blessings of the Guru and Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all these enlightened, all those holy beings, all the Dhamma protectors, everything's. So therefore, please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. Also, I think in a way, it is also very nice, it's a kind of humbling and humility. Instead of thinking, I can take care of everything, this, while I'm going through this, I need your support. I need your help. I need your blessings. Instead of our normal attitude, of pride, where I don't need anyone's help, I can do myself, so anyway, and so while you do that, again, if you can, as it is advised here by Lama Tsongkhapa, if you can also combine with the Tonglen practice, then also it will be nice. Of course, when you have time, sometimes what happens is as we go through, it just seems each of practice seems to take half hour, just a refuge and that. And this one, if you do it, is going to take 20 minutes. So it's going with the whole day practice. So, but it's good to know that there are many different how you can do, but when you have time, you do shorter version. When you have time, you do longer versions. When you have less time, you do shortened versions. When you have short time, sometimes you give more time on the refuge and bodhichitta. Sometimes you do on this 4 immeasurable and then combining with the Tonglen, so you spend more time here and others less, so that you can, once you know where then you can, I want to spend more time on more extensive on this particular sections of the practice, and others you can do more quickly, So don't feel overwhelmed. Do you get it? Because sometimes we might feel, I don't have time to do all this practice as it is described, each of them. It seems like it's impossible. I can't do this practice, when you go through, we explain details, but you don't have to do all detail when you don't have time, We just have to adjust to our time and see where you want to spend more time, with sections. In that particular day or that particular week or that particular month, so. And so when you apply with that Tonglen practice, as you do, then, as you breathe in, then you visualize, taking the, the suffering and cause of suffering of the suffering of all sentient beings, and especially the cause of their suffering, the discriminating mind of anger and attachments, anger and or hatred and attachments in the form of black smokes into yourself and destroying your selfish attitude in your heart and transforming into a loving kindness, compassion, and virtues. And as you send out, you can visualize sending of all the virtues, all the happiness, and especially the virtues of equanimity, especially the virtues of equanimity, so that you send and then you think everyone, now all sentient beings have actualized the equanimity. That is the root of happiness, root of loving kindness, compassion, bodhichitta mind. That is the root of enlightenment, root of true happiness. So you can visualize giving them that. So that, and then you can similarly same with others. Then loving kindness, similarly, how wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to achieve Buddhahood. Normally, in the actual, it is happiness. But I think Lama Tsongkhapa Rinpoche changed that into Buddhahood, because I think sometimes when you think of happiness, people think samsaric happiness, and here is not describing samsaric happiness. And so that for that purpose, I think Rinpoche changed from happiness to Buddhahood. Okay, but otherwise, normally, normal version translation, it would be happiness. Okay, and again, similarly, then may they achieve Buddhahood or happiness. May I myself cause them to achieve Buddhahood or happiness, and please, Guru Deity, bless me to abide able to this. And so, with that, again, you combine with if you have time, when you have time, then you can combine with the Tonglen, the taking and giving. Again, same thing. And as you breathe in, you visualize taking all the suffering, cause of suffering. And then when you breathe out, you visualize sending them all the happiness and cause of happiness, and especially, not only temporary samsaric happiness, but ultimate happiness of fully enlightenment, and them achieving the fully enlightenment, receiving the happiness of fully enlightenment. And then immeasurable compassion, saying how wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they be free from suffering and its causes. I myself will cause them to be free from suffering and its causes. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. And same thing, again, as you visualize taking all their suffering, physical suffering, emotional sufferings, and the cause of all the sufferings, and especially, all the negative karma, all the delusion, and especially the root of all the delusions, the ignorance, fundamental ignorance, taking on yourself. And then, sending them and giving them all the happiness and the cause of happiness, all the virtues, and especially, the virtues of the wisdom and the method. The wisdom realizing the emptiness. That's the fundamental antidote to the ignorance and the delusion. So again, you can do sending the happiness and cause of happiness. And then immeasurable joyfulness. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were never separated from the happiness of higher rebirth and liberation. So higher rebirth, and liberation, within the liberation, individual liberation, and non-abiding liberation of the fully enlightenment, So three, may they never be separated from this. I myself will cause them never to be separated from this. And please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. And so again, you do the Tonglen, same thing. Again, as you recite that, again, you visualize as you breathe in, taking all the suffering, the cause of suffering, and entering through with a breath together and destroying your selfish attitude at your heart, transforming into the positive virtues and happiness. And as you send out with a, breath and white light, then you send all the happiness, and especially, the happiness of, higher rebirth, liberations, and fully enlightenment, and the cause of them, and so, and then you can think they receive all the happiness. And so you combine that online practice, and then generating special bodhichitta, So generating special bodhichitta is most time is related with that, tantric practices, so that you want to achieve, not only you want to achieve enlightenment, but you want to achieve enlightenment as quick as possible. And the reason you want to achieve enlightenment as quick as possible is not because you are tired of being in the samsara and suffering, but because of your stronger compassion. Because you see, the more longer you remain in samsara, the more sentient beings suffer. The quickly you are able to achieve enlightenment, the quickly you are able to help them and free them from samsara, the quickly they experience less suffering, and quickly they achieve enlightenment. So it has to be driven by stronger compassions. It's not about you, it's about others. In terms of yourself, you are willing to be in samsara as long as it's required. You know? In terms of yourself, having the courage that if I have to remain in samsara for eons and eons, even for one sentient beings, I'm happy to do that. That kind of courage. But when it comes to others, I can't remain in samsara for eons and eons, because if I do that, there are so many sentient beings who are karmically so strongly connected with me. If I can achieve enlightenment quickly, especially those who are connected karmically to me, I can lead them, help them, and liberate them very quickly, so they don't have to suffer so much for so long. Therefore, I need to achieve enlightenment as quick as possible. The more quicker I achieve enlightenment, the more I'm able to liberate those sentient beings. That means they have to suffer less for more. And so with that, then you develop. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, you know, I shall very quickly in this very lifetime actualize the state of premortal Buddha, Guru Deity. And quickly, you know, means, you know, normally in the sutra path, it takes 3 eons to achieve enlightenment. And so by relying on Vajrayana, then one can achieve in one lifetime. So that's quickly, one quickly. And the other quickly is explained sometime, you know, if you practice correctly, not only in one lifetime, you can achieve even in 3 years, you know, within the 3 years. And quickly means like that, you know, to be the wish to achieve enlightenment, not only just one lifetime, but within the, you know, so that is cultivating a special, strong bodhichitta mind. And then having actualized the bodhichitta, having achieved the Buddha. So what is the purpose of achieving the Buddha? Why do I need to achieve the Buddhahood? Why do I need to achieve the, you know, Guru Buddha? And in order so that I shall, after achieve that, then I shall liberate all mother sentient beings from suffering, you know, and suffering and the cause of suffering, and lead them to the great bliss of Buddhahood, you know, then lead them to the ultimate happiness of Buddhahood. Therefore, I shall practice the profound path of Guru Yoga, and therefore, for that very purpose, that reason, I'm going to start practice the profound Guru Yoga. So I guess today maybe we will stop here. So I think we have still like you know, maybe 8 minutes. So anyone has any questions, comments from this morning?
Please raise your hand, your virtual hand, or write the question in the chat for Geshe-la. Any question at all?
Yes, there is one question page. The one I'm reading now is page number 6, where it says generating special bodhicitta. I don't know whether we have the same page. Are we the same? The one I have is on page number 6, the special, generating special bodhicitta. Because I know in FPMT there seems to be two versions, so I don't know whether we have the same one.
Geshe-la, on page 6, we have the 4 immeasurables with with the immeasurable compassion.
Okay, so maybe we might had slightly different ones.
Yes.
So maybe I can send the one I have to you, and then you can send to them.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Okay.
Any questions? Then I have one, Geshe-la. How long for would you suggest that we will be doing this practice? 30 minutes, 45 minutes? What is the best time amount?
Well, if we have time, then half hour, 45 minutes sounds good. If you don't have time, still 15 minutes, 10 minutes is also great. It is recommended to start all the practice with the Guru Yoga. And as I mentioned, long versions, small versions, there are extremely short versions, so like in all the sadhanas, it always start with the extensive ones, detailed one, always start with the lineage gurus, part of the Guru Yoga, with the lineage gurus. And, and then many of the masters, they start the practice in the morning with the Guru, the extensive Guru Yoga, Lama Tsongkhapa, before they start any other practice. And then if you don't have, then you do this smaller version. If you don't have time even to that, then as we come, there is the mantra, I don't know the mantra or the name mantra of Lama Tsongkhapa, as the 4 or 5 lines, that will come later. When you don't have time, you just recite that one, and that will be part of Guru Yoga, just starting the practice with that. That was according to one of my teachers, Ganden Rinpoche, who is the Ganden tea holder now. That was one of the advice he gave. Like when I'm doing long retreat and 4 sessions, the first session I started with the Lama Tsongkhapa, the extensive Guru Yoga, but every sessions, I don't have time to do that because it takes a lot of time. So other 3 sessions, I start with the, Guru Yoga, but with the immeasurables and then shorter versions of that, So again, it's good to do the Guru Yoga every day. And sometimes you can do longer versions, sometimes shorter versions, sometimes extremely shorter version, but it is good to start with that, just to have the blessings of them, Yeah.
Thank you, Geshe-la. And Andrea has a question. She's from the LamRim team.
Okay, please.
Hello, thank you, Geshe-la. So I have many questions, but because I am practicing Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga for some times, but we are not there, and then I will wait for maybe next week. But still, I have some questions about what you said. So first of all, when I first time kind of met this Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga, I was very much affected, or it was very strong. And, from that time, I'm kind of, I would like to, maybe it is too big a goal, but I would like to be reborn in the land of Tushita, where Lama Tsongkhapa is. And I really, it is my goal. But now you said that with especially bodhichitta, we need to achieve full enlightenment as quickly as possible, but it is not a, how do you say it is not a contradiction.
Mm-hmm. To be born in Pure Land?
Yes.
Yes. No, I don't think there is a contradiction to that, Again, it depends on our bodhichitta, Some of the bodhisattvas who have more stronger bodhichitta, they will prepare not to be in Pure Land, prepare in the land where there's much more sufferings. But for even all bodhisattvas, even in bodhisattvas, there are different levels of how strong their bodhicittas are, just like human beings, we might be compassionate, but some are more compassionate, more strong than others. Same way, bodhisattva also, some of them. And so anyway, but again, your purpose of being born there is to to be born there so that you can practice, because there's less distraction there. You know, it's easy to practice the Dharma there because the condition is better there to practice the Dharma, so that you can make a progress quickly without less distractions and all of that. Therefore, that you want to be born in there and to continue to practice and achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So I think there is no contradiction to that, but it also depends on the how strong your bodhichitta is. You know, some bodhisattva will prefer to be in a place where they not in pure land, but impure land, because there's more suffering and pain, so they can help more and they can benefit more, and also they can achieve enlightenment more quickly. In that sense, if you have that stronger bodhichitta and you work for benefit for that quickly, then also there is a chance of achieving enlightenment more quickly there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
So.
Then there is a one question. For teaching, I did not understand the name of third guru. There is outer, inner, and secret. Secret. That is the secret. In according to some of the teachings, you know, of one Sakya, great master by Sakya Monastery. Then he explained, master Konchom Nundup, he explained about three: outer guru, inner guru, and secret guru. And secret guru being the emptiness of all phenomena, as it explained, you know. So in others teachings you find about ultimate guru and conventional Buddha. So I think maybe this emptiness of all phenomena is similar to the ultimate Buddha, the Dharmakaya, you know, guru. Yeah. Okay. So then we'll do the dedications. Okay. We take a few moments to dedicate all our virtues to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, and to lead all sentient beings to the full enlightenment. We also dedicate to cultivate the two bodhichitta mind within ourselves and all sentient beings, and those who have already actualized, not to diminish but increase more and more. We also dedicate the virtues for the long life of His Holiness Dalai Lama, Kagyu Lama Sopa Rinpoche, and all their wishes to be fulfilled. And may we always be under their care, never be separated from them in this life, in part of, in all future life. And may we always be able to please them through our practice by following their advice, instructions. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la, for taking the time
Geshe-la.
for joining us. Thank you, and see you next week. Thank you, and bye.
Geshe-la.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Geshe-la.
And try to read and try to practice whatever you can a little bit, so you get familiar as we go through. So it's
Yes.
not just listening to it, but started to do little practice according to your understanding or your in whatever. And then as we go through, then maybe it might be more helpful, you know. And then maybe you might have some caution as well when you do the practice. Something can come, you know. You might have some challenges, struggles, difficulties, not being able to connect, or some. So then that can again, then you can bring up, and so then we can discuss. I don't have all the answer, but we can discuss. Okay.
Thank you, Geshe-la. See you next
Thank you,
week.
Geshe-la.
Bye.